appropriate and humane response, if any, to the situation. But of course, no one from mental health was summoned. Instead, the notoriously racist and abusive Lieutenant Joshua Massengill was called to the cell, bringing with him a 12-ounce canister of mace. This being the same Massengill who I've written about assaulting numerous blacks and calling them racist names. Needless to say, my neighbor is black. Only too eager to assault someone, Massengill gave my neighbor an immediate ultimatum: submit to strip cell or gas would be utilized. As my neighbor continued to talk incoherently, Massengill gassed him. I stood watching this flagrant abuse of force, internally raging. That he had a piece of paper on his life was no reason to gas him. He was no threat, nor was the piece of paper. It was just a pretext to assault a defenseless man for nothing. Actually, covering one's life is legally justified here at Red Onion, but the cells remain constantly illuminated, which is illegal, by the way. As the federal courts have stated, quote, there is no legitimate penological justification for requiring inmates to suffer physical and psychological harm by living in constant illumination. This practice is unconstitutional. End quote. This came from the case of Keenan versus Hall, 83 Federal 3rd, 1083, 1996. Then when they brought him out of the cell, blinded and choking from the gas, the guards tried to put my neighbor under a hot water shower as a pretended decontamination. All know that water, hot water in particular, does not decontaminate anyone of gas, but rather it reactivates and enhances the burning of the gas. This was actually admitted to me by Captain Ingram on October 30th, 2023 on the body camera at Virginia Sussex 1 State Prison. He revealed that Virginia's guards are trained to use milk to decontaminate one of gas, not water, because as said, water reactivates the gas and makes it burn more. Ingram is a chemical weapons instructor at Virginia Prison System's Guard Training Academy, yet nowhere in the Virginia prison system are there any decontamination facilities. So while gas is used almost daily at prisons like Red Onion, prisoners are never actually decontaminated. The courts have held that failing to decontaminate a prison after gas exposure is also unconstitutional. C. Williams versus Benjamin, 77 Federal 3rd, 756, 1996. Worse still, if these weapons are particularly dangerous, although officials attempt to play down their lethality. As I've written various times, tear gas, OC gas, etc. are chemical weapons much like chlorine gas that have been banned from use in war under international law because of their torturous and dangerous effects. This while the manufacturers of these weapons constantly enhance and upgrade their effects with little to no regulation, making them even more torturous and harmful while operating under the false cover of these weapons being non-lethal and mild alternatives